Hello everyone, and welcome to Rabbit Hole Central. Let's see, where was this girl's phone at? Aha! Hey everybody, Jason here. A couple of days ago, I posted a video with an iPhone 7 Plus board that had a really strange image fading issue. And today I would like to go back and revisit this board after some of your really much welcome comments. There was a lot of good suggestions. Some of them I had heard of before, some of them I had not. So today I'm going to look at these comments and we're going to test a couple of these things on this board and see if we can narrow down what the problem is. And guess who didn't set up capture for my web browser? Okay, bear with me just 1 second. My triangle got washed off, so now I'm just Well, apparently that open broadcaster does not want to capture this display for some reason, so we're going to read comments on this thing. I know I got like a 40-inch display up here, but we're going to do our comments today on this. Okay, so we've got a lot of good comments here. We've got one guy here, Intel Xeon X5650. He thinks it could possibly be the LCM reset signal. Let's see, we've got, yes, 2 days of uploads, yay. I'm secretly planning to post more often, guys. I really am. Fixing things for you in, what is it, Perth, Australia? Hey, how's it going? You had this fixed with a software, a full DFU restore. You know, I don't have permission to wipe this one, so I can't really, we'll see where this goes. Maybe we can try an update. Let's see, check to see if the filters by the connector are loose. That's entirely possible. I have had screwy stuff there before. What are our replies under this? I hope we don't have anything. Yes, just Clev, I did check every pin. I sure did. But you know, I have had perfect diode mode readings before across intermittently failing filters. So, you know, you never know. And also sometimes, you know, it wouldn't really matter in that case. Sometimes coils and inductors, they can get melted internally and then you'll still get a good diode mode reading or a good resistance mode reading across them. So, you know, it could be that. Let's see. Okay, ZX808401ZTV. You comment on my videos all the time. You've been here like since day one, way back, and I don't know your name. I'm so sorry. Let's see. Feed the backlight line with the correct voltage. Okay. And see if the display always loses data. All right. So there's a lot of really good recommendations here. Could be related to the NAND. So, so far we've gotten the suggestion to do software restore. We've gotten that it could possibly be something going on with LCM reset. And I have seen really weird screen redraw issues whenever it comes to LCM reset issues on the 6S. Pedro! What's up, Pedro? I can't think of a good Seinfeld reference right now. Sorry, I'll come up with one later. Serenity now. Replace that big silver thing across the dock connector. Okay, this is Trinity. Now, I have replaced this on phones before due to other issues, not this one, but I could see how Trinity may cause this. Trinity is basically, it's a conglomerate mess of inductors where Apple has taken like all these various boost inductors from different circuits and crammed them into one package. So you have the, you know, inductors for Chestnut, inductors for, I'm not going to name them off because I'll look like an idiot. But anyways, there's multiple coils within Trinity. So yes, we could have something melted or something screwy going on inside of Trinity. I could see that causing an all of a sudden fade. But we continued to get 5.7 volts. So I would think if Trinity was like welded inside, I would think that Chestnut would not be able to take the 4 volts coming out of our battery and crank that up to 5.7 volts. I don't think it could do that without a coil. All right, let's continue reading through here. I can't believe I got this big display up here and I'm like on this tiny little laptop. I love my laptop, don't make fun of me. Cooking garlic fried rice with 2 fried eggs. You know what? I ate an egg in a hole this morning. It was good. Really good. Is a bad filter for sure, even if the line's normal FPC. Okay, you know, it really could be. It's very simple flash with 3U tools. So Ovie tube, here is another one that thinks this could be a software issue. We do get image hardware as it starts, but I can see where, you know, the screen goes blank, comes back on. There's some point in time here where we probably switch from like a basic image to using the hardware, you know, the equivalent on a PC whenever it loads the graphics drivers. You know, I think we've got something very similar to that going on with iPhones. So yes, this could be software. Look at it with a thermal camera. Yeah. Okay. The brake servos. Yes, it's the Spectator. It's definitely the brake servos. You confirm no power leak anywhere. You know, I don't know if I just hooked it up to the supply and just watched it. Looks like CPU, GPU. See, CPU, GPU is sort of where I'm at, since I feel like all things power are good. For some reason, this thing is not delivering image. Roderigo! At this point, I check ripple current on Chestnut's output with an oscilloscope. Long shot, probably not. You know, it could be. Maybe Chestnut is squirting out dirty power. And actually, Roderigo, I do have an oscilloscope. I've got an old Tektronix scope, but that's currently in my 11-year-old's room. It's part of his, like, mission control or something. All right. Obviously, you don't need help because you're a pro. You know, I do need help. I really, really do. My friend, okay, Yusef Hamada. I apologize if I'm saying that wrong. My friend, the problem is a loose connection and one coil that feed the GPU from the PMU. You need to check them all. They are the big black boxes around the CPU. Now, this is something that I have heard of before, and I have heard of this with wonky image issues, and let's see what the replies are under this. Close. The phone boots to home screen, so the CPU power rails are fine. Both image power and backlight are working. The issue is the actual picture. Picture is generated by the CPU. AngryTechGuy, you know, I've seen you in live chat before. You are around. You see, you most likely know Paul and everybody, so... He replied, you may be right, but these lines are tricky, easy to pop, and make loose connections that deliver less power to the CPU. Yes, GPU part aside from the CPU, responsible for picture. Okay, so these guys are going to argue a little bit. That's okay. It gives me more comments under my videos. So everybody, argue under my video, please. Argue right there. Let's move on. Ace, have you got an email address I can write to? And I'm really sorry, but I'm like, there's no way for me to explain to you how overloaded I am. I'm way overloaded. So if you are needing help, you'll have to follow through the normal, you have to follow through the line or I will lose track of you. I'm not doing it to be rude, but seriously, if it comes to me and it's not part of my normal chain of devices coming in, it's a mess. Okay, so moving on. MagicMike, haha, cool indeed. I bet you're talking about that screwy CPU redraw screen. Fingers, priceless sense of humor. Thanks, man. I'm going to post as much as I can. Maybe a pen floating or bad voltage. Check the caps or replace them and try again. Caps aren't important. This could be, however, you know, these things that are power related, I'm really not feeling it. I'm in a position in life where I'm entirely, completely, utterly, totally overloaded with devices. And I just, things that are like really far-fetched with low chances of success, I'm having trouble being able to do it. So I got to keep this video short. I was trying to spend a half hour, but comments are running on longer than that. Just Cleb, Jason is on fire, 2 videos today. Love your work, always, brother. Thanks for commenting. I really appreciate it. You're another one that I remember seeing from a long ways back. Data line probably need to reball the CPU. So here's another one on track with saying that it's CPU related. Continue to scroll. 7 and 8 pin on the FPC. Alien counters. That is a CPU lines. Nice to see you here, Alien Encounters. I've been seeing you here for a long time. Another one that thinks it's CPU. Nice to see 2 videos in 2 days, man. If only I could help. Did you check the solder pop thingies? You know, I didn't check those solder pop thingies. Yeah. You know, this board did have stuff swelled all along the Wi-Fi IC. You know? And this fade out, drop out thing happens right at the very end. But we watched current consumption. Whenever the fade out, drop out thing happened, I didn't get any weird current consumptions, I don't remember. So we might wind up at that. Another guy, GPU coil 100%. See, I'm kind of starting to feel this GPU coil thing, guys. All right, AngryTechGuy. Image is generated directly from the CPU. Phone has both powered backlight and powered display, which means the board most likely has a brittle or cold solder joints beneath the CPU. Which is something I don't really want to hear. Test 1. During boot up, use your thumb and press directly down on the CPU. Be careful, CPU becomes surprisingly hot. Yeah, you ain't kidding. I think I've got an Apple logo burned into one of my thumbs. If you get full boot to home screen, the problem is a bad solder joints beneath the CPU. Yes, simply reball the CPU and everything will be fine. Yeah, we'll just simply reball the CPU. You know, maybe one day I'll get to a point in my life where I'm simply reballing the CPU. So all of these are good suggestions. We've got LCM reset, we've got the GPU coils next to the CPU, we've got cold solder joint under the CPU. I think the general consensus here is a CPU related issue. Now, if it does wind up being a coil, you know, maybe that's something that I'll fix. Now, If it's something that's going to need the CPU reballed, then this would be something where I would offer data recovery. I'm not to a point in my life where I'm going to be reballing CPUs for the sake of a usable phone. In fact, I'm not really in a point in my life where I'm reballing CPUs at all. So here we are. There's our comments. We've got our things that we're going to check. Let's get this thing out of the way. So here we are looking at this board. Absolutely nothing has changed since the last time we spoke, or since the last time I spoke, and then you guys responded. I appreciate that very much. Seriously, I put this aside and I have not done anything. So I know I said that if I found a solution, I would come back and record a video, but instead I decided to post and try your solutions. So let us get this into a board holder. I know I should probably try the software method first, but I'm not feeling it. After the screen goes blank, I can continue to trigger the screen wake up and sleep with the button backlight, but not image. You know, the backlight will come on and go off as I press the button, but we get no image. So it's more like LCM reset, but could also be, let's take the shield off of it. First, we're gonna get these stickers out of the way here. After letting it soak for just a few seconds, the alcohol makes it much easier to remove these stickers. Oh, what is up? My tweezers must have gotten bent. I let my wife use them for something. She destroyed them like plucking leg hair or something. Alrighty then, so we've got the sticker out of the way, huh? Let's get this thing clamped down in our holder. I'm gonna do it right about, let's see, let's go down to this end. This thing has been giving me a little bit of trouble here and there for some configurations. All right, we'll go down to this end there. And let's just clamp it back here. You know, we really don't need to use much force lifting up on that anyways. So now I'm going to peel off a piece of adhesive that is really strong whenever it's cold. This piece of adhesive, if you try to do this with the board cold, you will take components off with it. But if you hit it with a decent shot of hot air, watch this, this thing will slip right off. They've got like a strip of some sort of clear glue along here. So we just have to heat that up and slide it right off of there. There we go. And as you can see, the board moves real easy in this holder. It's not clamped in real tight, but we're not going to have to pull up real hard to remove the shield. All right, so let's get the shield off. I should switch to a larger nozzle, but I'm not going to, because I most likely won't use a larger nozzle for anything else during this whole entire process. Heat it up nice and hot, and then I'm going to start tugging on it. Okay, it's starting to move along the side that is farthest away from me, the side that's I'm holding onto with tweezers. There we go, starting to lift up here. You gotta watch it. This one you will get into a bind. I'm backing away with the heat, and I'm gonna grab it at the other corner. Ooh, baby. All right, let's loosen up our clamp here because the board shifted on me. And now I don't need it in any specific spot because the shield's off. Let's move it to where I can get it clamped in here real good. Well, I don't think I'm clamping it in here real good, but we're going to clamp it, by God. All right. There we are. Shield's off. Let's not waste any time. Let's get this thing directly under the microscope. Holy crap! Look at this, guys. It has got solder squeezed out all of these components along here. Now, all right, I know what you're thinking. I overheated it just now removing that shield, but this isn't like my first iPhone 7 Plus removing a shield on it. I mean, I've got mountains of these things under my belt, and I didn't do that. Like, this is overheated due to something else. This, I'm taking it out of the holder. This is overheated due to the same thing that caused all of this ball squeezage above the Wi-Fi IC. Right? Look at this board with all of the balls squeezing out of both sides of these caps. Now, okay, if we have ball squeeges here, and we've got ball squeezage, gosh, that's hard to say, squeezage here, how come we don't have any squeezage and balls popping out here? Perhaps the overfill here was put on last after the squeezage took place. I'm starting to feel like this was factory. See, I've done a lot of these, and I don't feel like the amount of heat that I put on this just now was anywhere near enough to cause this, nor do I have any idea what caused the solder to squeeze out up here. All right, well, let's test it. All right, I'm going to put this thing here. I have got handy, I think I've got both test screens that I used in the original, in the first video. Let's see, here's one of them. Where's the other one? Huh, okay. I could swear my other test screen was white in that video. You know what? I think that is the screen we used. And then this is the screen that would just go blank. So let's first verify that we get the same behavior. We're going to hook our DC power supply up, making sure the power is off. It is. And I'll tell you what, let's hook up the screen that made such pretty visual effects. Plug in the home button flex here just to make sure I don't wad it up under something. All right, this is the screen that gave us the cool visual artifacts. Oh, holy exposure. So let's turn the power supply on. We're currently drawing 0 amps. Oh, thank you, phone. And we're going to press the button to boot, and 1, 2, 3, boot. 100 milliamps, 70 milliamps, 270. You know, it kind of jumped up in the 200s pretty quick. I don't know, maybe I'm just like TriStar paranoid. Yeah, no, I have not replaced TriStar on this phone. I'm not going to either, but believe me, it is tempting. Now, if this thing is able to boot up to a lock screen without a fading Apple logo, then I will jump to a CPU issue pretty quick after heating all around the CPU just now. I'm starting to feel like this is going to be related to balls popping out here. I think we've definitely got a CPU level issue going on here, and I'm starting to feel that this was a factory mistake rather than a user mistake, because all things about this phone appear to be factory on the board. You know, there's not any prior rework or anything. It's not been heated up with hot air before. I'm the first one, and all of a sudden we get balls popping out. The phone boots just fine, and now we have working image without losing image. So what do you think that means? We've applied heat to the CPU, and now all of a sudden it's magically fixed itself? You know what we do? We put this all back together and we bill the customer. Fixed, we are done. No, I'm kidding. We're not doing that. This is a heaping pile of crap. So if I'm not pushing on the CPU to cause it to get image, maybe we can push on the CPU and cause it to lose image, right? Right? Yeah, here's me digging through my mountainous drawer full of stuff. Aha! Ha 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 ha. Okay, so we will plug this monster right on here. We'll at least add some resistance, right? We'll flip the screen over upside down because that's just crazy. not plug that home button connector in. I don't know if you can see that, but that home button connector looks like a pile of garbage. So just the screen today. Okay. All right, so here we are hooked up through iBridge. And let's power it up. I thought I seen current. Let's pay really close attention to the current consumption here throughout the boot sequence. See what we get. We got a nice, beautiful Apple logo with a freaking bite going out of it. I don't think they should be able to copyright infringe anybody over an Apple unless the damn thing's got a bite going out of it. Dun, 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 dun. Or copyright a word. Like, who can copyright a word? Has anybody tried tagging Apple on Instagram lately? Or iPhone? I guess they copywrote that. All right, I'm going to shut up before I have to edit this video. So we're going to let this thing come up. It's going to boot up to an image again, I'm sure. And I think it's because of our heating around the CPU. But with the evidence of strong solder swellage going on here, I feel like we're going to have CPU level issue going on here. Okay, so we came right up and we're to a passcode screen. This customer may opt to get a backup of the data at this time. So I'm not sure how much farther I'm going to go on this, guys. All right, so we're idling around a 0.5 amp of current. What's that look like if we switch it over to this view? Pretty well flat. Let's not let the screen go to sleep. So the current is fluctuating a bit. It's now dropped down to 100 milliamps. You know, we're now in the 200 milliamps range. I don't think this is anything out of the ordinary for current consumption, really. Especially if we let the screen go to sleep. We'll do that in a minute. I'll let the screen go to sleep and see what this thing rests out at. I mean, but seriously, we're drawing like 100 milliamps with backlight lit up. We got the screen lit up and we've got image. Let's see. I'm just going to kind of lightly twist around on this board up here around the CPU. Nothing changes. It's now working flawlessly after we have heated the CPU. Gosh, all right guys, well you know what? For the sake of this customer and data, I'm not going to torture this thing anymore. I mean, what I did just now with the tiny little bit of flex, that was stupid. If there's data on this board and the customer wants it, we need to kind of freeze right now. Let's have a look at it under the microscope. I'm going to go ahead at the very least and look at the inductors along the CPU. But by heating this thing up just now, a lot of stuff changed. You know, we heated this entire board up really hot, and something now has changed and it is getting an image. So I believe the coils that they're talking about are all of these right along the CPU. I don't see anything that really jumps out at me other than over here toward the front side. We've got this one right here that's got a ball popping out. Yeah, and see, none of these components here along the front side, like that were out from under that shield, none of these components were overheated. There was no solder squeezing anywhere over here. So if I put the sort of heat on this board that was needed to squeeze this much solder, we would have a mess all along here. There would be components detached, things would be loose and moving. This is starting to feel like a really bad Apple refurb or something, honestly. So when there's any damage to these coils or physical damage to the CPU, what I see a lot of is crack in the underfill. This black epoxy that holds this stuff together and down to the board. When there's physical damage, I wind up finding cracks, long craters that run through this stuff. And you can follow those cracks into the inductors, and you can see where the breaks go. But in this case, I mean, this underfill is a little more rubbery, so maybe it won't crack. but I just don't see any cracks at all. Huh. So what do you troubleshoot when something's working? Let's just let's have a quick look at the schematic. Let's see which of these coils are GPU related, just to, you know, kind of follow down the trail of the folks in the comments that were suggesting GPU. So for that, I am going to be opening up Flexboard View. Actually considering ditching Windows 10 on my main system and just switching it over to Linux. I run Linux on everything else. This is my only system now that's stuck running Windows. So here we are looking at this iPhone 7 Plus. I'm going to rotate it so that it is turned the same way as it is on the bench, which this is the way that we have it on the bench. And let's just kind of zoom in and look at these coils. I really like how Flexboard View labels the net names onto the pads. This is fantastic. So we've got a PPGPU SRAM here. We've got a PPGPU VAR. So all of these coils here are GPU related. Buck LX0, what is that coming up with on the schematic? And also another thing that Flexboard View does is that it automatically matches up the schematic. You know, you've heard me ranting and bragging about EasyDraw before. Well, Flexboard View will, it does the same exact thing to where when you click a component on the PDF, it will also take you to that spot on the schematic. But I don't have my recording setup here set up in a good way to capture that. So, all right, L1804, this, this Buck 6 LX0, that is creating PP1V25_Buck. Is that right? Yes, that Buck 6 LX0 and Buck 6_FB. These are both responsible for creating PP1V25Buck. We're not too worried about that. I seriously am more leaning toward toward GPU. So all of these coils along the CPU on this side, and this one out here on the end, actually has solder balls squeezing out of it. As you'll see down here at the bottom right-hand corner of your screen, this is part of this, all the stuff along here that got overheated. So really, what happened to this thing? I suppose at this point in time, what I'm going to do, I'm going to get a hold of the customer and see if they would like to do a backup of the data. So for those of you that suggested to heat the CPU area and see if that would get this board working again, it did. Let's see. I didn't try it. Man, after leaving it sit on the shelf, I should have tried it before applying any heat to it. I'm an idiot. Anyways, guys, I think I'm going to stop right there. At this point in time, I can get data off of this board, and this is somebody, you know, they've been through a Best Buy, they've been through their local repair shop, they've been to a couple of places by now, and I think if they weren't really interested in data, they would have given up by now. So we're going to stop right here and see if they want to get data, but I'm really feeling like this is going to be a CPU level fault, guys. I really appreciate all of your comments on the video I did of troubleshooting the power circuit on this thing. But I think, honestly, this is going to wind up being a CPU reball. And judging by the amount of solder balls popping out toward the top of the board here, it is likely going to need other stuff along the top here reworked as well. Our beloved speaker amp, you know. And all right, guys, that is going to be the end of this video. I really thank you all for watching. It means a lot to me. There's a lot of you clicking like and commenting, and I thank you for watching these videos as I post them. It really means a lot to me, and I'm going to keep them coming. So that's it for now, everybody. I'll see you soon.